Yo! Welcome to the Orange Bloods Prize Pick Show here on Orange Bloods Live. I'm Jeff Ketchum. That's Jason Sukumo and Anwar Richardson. No Alex Dunlap today. We believe he's out shooting something on this Thursday. Not
legally, let's clarify. Yes.
No, it's like something with 4 legs or some wings. I'm not exactly sure, but it's just the three of us holding it down today. Do us a solid. Like, comment, subscribe to the page. Jump into the Specs chat. Might be a good day, actually, to get some super chats in. Matter of fact, you know what? We've already got one. You know what? Bryson, if you want to come in and get in, we'll let you for $4.99. Haven't been on social media this week because of election coverage. Really feeling the over on John Tay this week. Easy money.
Bryson, you got a good laugh. I actually laughed out loud at that. It was worth your $5, dude. So,
well, that is well. If you are going to, if you're going to do that, then
Julio,
yes.
I think he knows that. I think Julio, what I would say is, Money B gets it though. Money B's entertained already. I don't mean to laugh, but sometimes we have to. I do want to remind everybody, PrizePicks is the sponsor of the PrizePicks Show. Get $50 instantly, and I mean instantly. When you sign up, use that promo code OrangeBloods, and you play 5, they'll give you 50. As a matter of fact, you can use the QR code. It's right there. But why have you look at that when I can have you look at this? Boom! It's green. It pops off the screen, and it's letting you know. Use that promo code OrangeBloods. Get 50 when you play 5. Fellas, it is the Florida preview prediction show. I've filibustered for a couple of minutes trying to get Anwar an opportunity to get a score in mind. To be fair, I don't have mine completely ready to go. I'm winging this. We don't have prize picks, so we'll give you some ballpark ideas of kind of what we think the numbers should look like. And then when the actual numbers come out, and I'm guessing pretty soon, we're 48 hours officially. We're 49 hours as we record this away from kickoff. So I would imagine those will start to come in. Jason, I'll come to you first. I know you just got finished posting matchups.
Mm-hmm.
What's your vibe on this? Can this be a game if Florida doesn't have a scholarship, non-redshirt freshman Yale transfer taking snaps?
If Lagway plays, it'll be closer. I still don't think it's close. But I just can't. The guy got carted off the field last week, and they're going to trot him out there. To me, like when I talked to people around the Florida program on Tuesday, it was Tuesday, so 2 days ago, they were like, "No way, he's out." It was this grade of strain. But then we're hearing he practiced yesterday. Like to me, first off, that seems they're not doing the kid any favors if they trot him out there, right? You're risking further injury. But I get it. Billy Napier is trying to save his job right now. I don't think it matters, Catch. I think Texas is the better team. Obviously, if it is Aiden Warner instead of Lagway out there, this is a name your score type of game to me. I did my matchups you mentioned, and I posted them on Orange Bloods about an hour ago. I gave Florida the slightest of edges in special teams, and I almost did that just like because I felt sorry for them, if I'm being honest, because I had Texas dominating.
Oh, man, you gave them a pity special teams?
I really did. I mean, they've got a good punter and a pretty good kicker, so I'm like, okay, I'll give them 1 star on one category, right? Because I have Texas dominating every other area. So, they don't throw the ball well. They don't run the ball well. Their secondary's beat up. I mean, this should be a game Texas gets back on track. I think it's just what the doctor ordered for Texas after a couple games where, they played less than stellar football, I think. So to answer your question, the short answer is no. I don't think this is going to be a competitive game. Are we doing score predictions already? Or
yeah, let's jump into it.
I literally wrote it down like Almar did as we were starting. So I've got Texas at 45-13. I just don't see – and the quarterback situation makes that a little dicey. But if they're starting the Aiden Warner guy, it's going to be tough for them to get to 13. They're not going to be able to run the ball, I don't think. So, but I'm going to go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe Texas gives them a short field or something on one possession. So I'm going to go Texas 45, Florida 13. I just think this will be an easy win for Texas. I think it'll be over by halftime.
Onward, any of that sound unrealistic?
Yeah.
Is that Michael I'm sorry, in the chat. Sorry, I'm assuming Pete Thamel, reports Billy Napier will be retained as Florida coach. Is that true? I haven't seen that this morning. So.
Well, good for
I
him.
don't know. Yeah. You could look it up, Jason. Catch and I literally did the show and popped on here 5 minutes later. So
maybe they don't. Maybe they won't be forcing Lagway out there if that's true. But anyway, sorry.
I do think the Napiers. I haven't gotten the sense that the product on the field, considering what they've been going through on the injury front, is such. They might not win another game, and it might not be because he's a terrible coach. And sometimes you
Sorry, Catch. 6 minutes ago, Florida says he will be back. Yeah, that's a statement from Florida.
Now, I tend to actually believe that because I think that you wouldn't want to lose Lagway, and Lagway's there for him. And so in this day and age, there's a little bit of the Jimmy Chitwood Hoosier situation there where it's like, I stay, coach stays, I go. If coach goes, I don't know if that's exactly the way it was with Lagway, but I don't sense that they want to treat it that way. So Lagway's not going to play in this game. The optics, you know how you lose, you know how you get athletic directors to take back their statements? The optics of putting an injured kid on the field and then him getting hurt. And then the stories that come from, you put a guy on the field that was carted off the week before, and then the same injury occurs. It'll look like desperation, and that's not what you want when you're talking about the bodies of young men. I have a hard time believing Lagway plays. And Onwar, I tend to think that my score is not exactly like Jason's, but it's not far from it.
Well, now knowing that in real time, I was giving Florida 17 points. I think I need to revisit that.
Why were you giving them 17 points?
just because I thought, well, maybe they can score something. But now I'm revitalizing this. I mean, Jason's 13, 2 field goals and maybe a touchdown might be right. I don't know. I don't want to do Jason's exact score. So I'm going to take the low on that. I'm just going to go 45-9 at this point. Because I don't want to mimic his I'm probably going to go 45-13 because at this point.
That's my exact score, Omar. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely wasn't listening to my ramble.
I'm busy reading the statement.
Sometimes I do a show and I'm just like, I don't even know who I'm talking to.
I heard you don't want to do my score. You're going to do 9, but now you're going 13. I'm consumed. Billy Napier follows me on Twitter, so I like that guy suddenly. So good for you, Billy.
Jason, just do your random thoughts and get them out the way so we can do a show.
Go on, go,
Jason. No.
Jason, this isn't sponsored by Rogue Shop today.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing my Billy Napier research for the PrizePicks show so I can make an accurate prediction, and I found out he is coming back, and lo and behold, the guy follows me on Twitter.
When he gets fired, and there are rumors that he might join Steve Sarkisian's staff as an analyst or something, you've got the direct pathway for a direct message.
So, feeling good about it. All right, Omar, my bad. Go with your prediction.
Do you know that Billy Napier has a dog? I was just looking online. I saw that.
I just thought that was so random. Why that guy be following me? I'd never talked about him, never reported on him, but whatever. I'm sure
I just found Billy Napier's Amazon wish list. Did you know that? Keep telling us random facts about Billy Napier as we're trying to do a show here.
Well, he's coming back. That's the big news. So go ahead.
It is. And by the way, Pete Thamel didn't break it. University of Florida put out a press release that said that's what he's going to be, that they're going to retain him. And Pete Thamel just went ahead and retweeted it. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm probably going to say 45-13. The only thing, the good news for Florida Catch is that they've had 8 interceptions in the last 4 games. So they've been doing good as far as getting the ball. And they're really good on the offensive line, actually. They actually have only allowed 12 sacks this season. So they'll be competitive. But what they don't have is the firepower to hang with Texas for 4 quarters. And at some point, the floodgates will probably open. They will, like to your point, they'll now probably play the third string guy. And probably won't end well for them. So they're going to be on the road. It's going to be an early game. And again, one of the things that when I had Scott Carter from Florida Gators on my show the other day, who, by the way, I thought he's actually an employee of the university, but he sure didn't talk like a guy who's getting a check from the university, because he was as objective as I've ever heard a university employee. He basically said Florida has a way of shitting the bed at 11 o'clock games for some odd reason. He goes, those guys just a lot of times just don't show up. So the 13 is probably generous, but probably 45-13 is where I'm going to go the exact same score as Jason.
Hey, Anwar, that's the same score I picked.
Are these binding, by the way? Or like, I sometimes change my score from the show to the official Orange Bloods.
As long as you don't say 99-0 and then change it when we do.
I mean, I've changed who I think is going to win the game before at the last second. So this brings us to the PrizePicks component of, real quick, Bryson's got another super chat. So we'll take that real quick before I go off into another tangent. Feels like the Texas statement in 2020 about Herman being retained. We all know how that ended. Bryson, I'd lie if I said that I didn't have the same thought. But in this case, I actually believe the Napier statement. I think they're doing it for recruiting. I think they're doing it for they have to know that the end of this season could be ugly, that it might be just as possible that Lagway doesn't play for weeks than it is that he plays this weekend. That just sounds preposterous. But Bryson, I think we all have to file that away in the back of our brains, that never say never. And sometimes I haven't seen the press release yet, but maybe it's worded in a really vague way that, administrators from Florida have been bickering over the language used for days. It does happen. But thank you, Bryson, for that. I wanted to, before I gave my prediction, it feels like this somewhat segues into what I think is the story of this game on Saturday is, does Quinn get his groove back this weekend? Do we see this Texas offense find its mojo the way Steve Sarkisian answered your question on Monday, Anwar, with regards to I'm sure there's a list of things that if you could fix and then know that if that were fixed, everything else is going to follow. He wants his mojo back. It's a Florida defense that can be had, but it's also a Florida defense with big athletes and guys that on their day can be pretty good. I'll be honest, I don't quite know what my expectations are. If you told me, and I've kind of week in and week out Anwar, even though I hate him. I've been pretty take the Moors on Quinn all season long, and they haven't always hit. So, I've been punished more than I've been rewarded. Although the last time, I guess, for the Vanderbilt game,
I think Vanderbilt, you were okay.
Vanderbilt, I was 7 out of 7. Didn't hit the others because I was big on Ryan Wingo. Won't make that mistake this weekend. I promise you. If it says Ryan Wingo 1 yard, I'm like, nope, not getting me today, Satan. I don't know. Like, if 45-13 to me means that Quinn Ewers is back to some degree and that the passing game is working and that maybe they even got a special teams touchdown or a defensive touchdown to get up to 45, maybe even the run game establishes itself in a way that they'll feel really good about, that would be a perfect victory from a score standpoint. I do wonder if it's going to be more like 31-13 than 45-13. And can this passing game kind of find itself? And I don't have any provocative statements. I don't know. And therefore I find myself somewhere in the middle. My official score at this moment is just one less touchdown than you guys. I've got 38-13 in my head. Is that a clunky 38? Is that a dominant 38 and they put, the foot on the brake in the third or fourth quarter. I don't know. I know this is a Florida offense that is going to be really limited, and it just kind of goes that way sometimes. What we'll get from the Texas offense, they've had a couple weeks to work on this, but I don't know. Onward, you've got 45-13, so you think Quinn throws for 3 touchdowns and is like back or what?
That's gonna. I think that he's healthier now than he was before. I think he was healthy and very productive before the injury. Afterwards, he's not as productive, and I think as much as there are people behind the scenes wanted to scream from the mountaintops that he's good, he's healthy, no, he's back to 100%. Like no, all is good. They've had to backtrack on that. Yeah, and now back on the horse. He's feeling a lot better now. Like all right, whatever.
Best practice of the season on Wednesday.
Oh gosh. So I know what's going to happen, but I think if you're a Texas fan, you better hope this is the get back game, because you go on the road versus Arkansas. Kentucky, we know, has a good defense, no offense. And then you got Texas A&M. And we know that, you can't have 3 losses and you probably won't make the playoffs. Like it's going to be really, really tough. And so this has to be the get back game as far as getting that momentum going against Arkansas. Arkansas is just a weird team. One day you're like, wow, look how good this Arkansas team is. It's just what they did against Tennessee. And then another week they're getting blasted. You're just, I don't know what to make of them. So, but their quarterback might be back, so if that happens, there's a little bit thing for going for them. I think this has to be the get back game. You're talking about, Jason's doing his matchups. Defense is good, but this is a good team. It's not great. And, their losses that they've had, all the losses that they've had, ironically, they've all been against ranked teams. So there's not tons to be embarrassed about, other than saying, well, Florida lost against ranked teams. But the teams that they've lost against this year have been Miami. They've lost against A&M. They have the loss against Tennessee, which was an overtime loss, 23-17. And then in against Georgia, they were somewhat competitive for, 3 quarters or so. Like they were kind of in that game. So, they're going to put up a fight. And this is the game where Texas should be able to go out and assert their will. If they don't, then, you don't want to be in a fourth quarter game against this team just out of curiosity. But they shouldn't be, especially with the quarterback that they're trotting out there. And I think that's the difference for me.
They were competitive against Georgia. Like Lagway had a long touchdown pass, right? And Georgia was turning the ball over, and Georgia's offense wasn't playing well. But this is I know, like Sark said, hey, it's a talented team. And I'm sure if you look at the recruiting rankings, it is. But this is a team that's on defense. I mean, their offense is going to be terrible, right? I think we all expect that. Defensively, they're 15th out of 16 teams in the SEC in rushing defense. They give up 162 yards per game on the ground. Their secondary is decimated by injuries. I mean, I talked about Florida getting to 13. I'm like, okay, maybe Texas gives them a short field. Well, the odds are Texas is probably going to have a short field or two as well, because they're going to get some turnovers. Honestly, like I know the spread's 21 and a half or something like that, right? So I'm well over the spread, but I almost feel like I'm being generous at 45-13. I feel about this one the way, what was it, Catch? Was it the Oklahoma game where you were like, no, Texas is going to blow them out and like obliterate the spread? I kind of feel, I kind of feel about this one the way you felt about Oklahoma. I mean, 45-13, I've got them covering the spread by about 10 points already, but I think they might cover it by more than that. I just think this is a bad Florida football team.
No, so when we look at the PrizePicks numbers, if I set Ewers' touchdown passes at 2.5,
I would take the more. I mean, I would take that more than I would the yardage. Again, they may start a couple drives on Florida on the plus 30-yard line or something. If they get a turnover or something like that. So, I think Quinn against this secondary that's beat up. I think Quinn, quote unquote, gets his mojo back. I think, like Almar said, I think the people inside the football building there know that this is a game where they need to get back on track, because it's not going to get any easier at Arkansas. Kentucky's defense, like Omar mentions, really good. Obviously, A&M on the road. So if they're going to get their offense back and kind of get their confidence back, get their mojo back, their swagger, this is the week it needs to happen. I think they're going to try to force that. So I would take the more on that at 2.5. I think Quinn has a good productive game this week. I would take that. I would take the more on the touchdowns, probably over the yardage even.
That'll be one to keep an eye on, because I believe I wonder if 2.5 might be a red devil.
Maybe.
I think against Vanderbilt, they set the line at 1.5. And, so that's just keep an eye on that. It does sound like, though, Jason, that Trey Wisner might be a sneaky play, whether it's all-purpose yards, rushing and receiving. But, man, if Florida's been that bad on defense, we know Sark's going to want to run the ball. That if this is the kind of game that will allow them to potentially do that, he's going to want to get that work in, maybe even at the expense of points, that it gets to be 27-0 or something like that. Then you just, you can work on what you want to work on. And if it means you don't get to 47, you get to 37 instead, there are coaches that are fine with that. But it does sound the go-to is Gunnar Helms' stats, right?
Yeah.
That's the first thing I think I look at when the prize pick numbers come out, Anwar.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a Texas player right now that you would hitch your wagons to every week?
Gunnar for sure. You're right about the Wingo thing. Every time they put out a reasonable number, that thing happens. The only thing that makes me wonder a little bit, Catch, as relates to the Quinn's thing, is that when Sark is talking about we need to get our offensive mojo back, he talked about the 3-point shooter kind of thing, and what was his other analogy? What was the other one that he used?
Home run hitter.
Makes me think that he's going to be going for the deep ball a little bit. It makes me think that he's going to be trying to connect, and you block outside noise all you want to. It's kind of hard to do that. I think he's going to want to prove a point just a little bit to folks who just basically have been kind of basically saying he's just got a dink and dunk offense. I think there's a pride factor that's going to kick in. So if there is a Ryan Wingo number, I think I'm going to get back on the horse. I think I'm going to try it, Catch. I think I'm going to do it one more time, just because I think he's going to want to have something to prove just a little bit. And if Isaiah Bond, more so than Ringo, because that might be like a secondary thing. Isaiah Bond, whatever the number is, I'll probably take the more on that one, because I think this will be a get-back game for him.
And given that he's been injured, I bet they set Bond's number at a modest level.
Yeah.
That we might be looking at 55 yards or something like that, instead of something in the high 70s or maybe low 80s. I don't think they've had Bond higher than that during the rest of the season. So something to keep an eye on.
Would you take for the quarterback for Florida? Is Aiden is his name? Aiden Hutchinson?
Yes.
No, not Hutchinson. That's
not Hutchinson. No.
Warner. Aiden Warner.
Yeah. Would you take the less for whatever passing numbers that they throw out for him? And Catch, would you take the more if they put a 0.5 interceptions on him?
Well, let's start with the yards. What would it have to be for you to take the more?
115.
I think I bet they set him around 150. So
feels like this Iowa quarterback from a couple of years ago. You're like, damn, 95 yards is total, and then he'd still go under every time.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it goes the other way around. A guy, they might not even have to score a lot of points, but the yards, second half, trash time kind of stuff. It's not like if he doesn't work out, it's not like they've got another option to lean on.
This
guy's going to have to be the guy.
No, there's one walk. I was doing my math.
I do have another quarterback who's on scholarship, actually.
Yeah, maybe it must be a scholarship. Yeah, but the people I talked to said, hey, he might be better than this Aiden Warner guy. So maybe
that guy sucks. So
So, yeah.
No, true. I'm just saying they do have another quarterback on the roster. They do have a backup quarterback who is a scholarship guy.
Okay, but he's behind this. Almost making me hurts.
Hey.
I almost said this fucking guy. Let me read you his stats for the season, okay? In case anybody is unaware of what Florida comes in from a cap gun quarterback situation. He's 9 of 25 passing. That's 36% completion for 96 yards and 3.8 yards per attempt.
He threw the ball 22 times last week against Georgia. So it wasn't like he came in and threw the ball 5 times. 22 times. He completed 7 of them.
His college quarterback rating for the season is 60.3. Whew, that's a little less than 100 points less than Ewers. And his QBR, that ESPN stat that I'm not quite sure how it works, is 11.1, which ironically enough, Jason, that's 11.1 more than you and me.
Yeah, I think that's more in line with the NFL QBR. But yeah, last week against Georgia, that's his first real action. 7 of 22, 66 yards, 3 yards an attempt, no touchdowns, 1 interception, 9.5 QBR. So I don't mean to laugh at the guy, but
yeah, I mean the thing is, he's a Florida kid who's from around the area. He went to Yale, and just once he got done, he just was like, hey, you know what? Just want to go there to Florida, just to have some big time college football, enjoy myself, enjoy life, that kind of thing. He didn't come thinking he was actually going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't play at Yale.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just saying, he just wanted to. Oh, wait, yeah.
He's a redshirt freshman.
Yeah, but he just wanted to come and enjoy some Florida life. He didn't come thinking he actually was going to actually play. He just wanted to this would be kind of fun.
He's like, I came here to meet girls. What just happened? Why am I on the field against Georgia?
In Texas, starting on the road at Texas.
Look, this is why the Florida AD. I just saw the statement that was put out.
Yeah,
it's like a college paper. It's like 5 paragraphs long, and it's never a bad. Why couldn't he just say, yeah, we're definitely bringing him back? There's no. You could just say that. You put out a college term paper on your decision. They did that because they know they're getting destroyed this week. So this is the time to issue that he's coming back, because you can't do that after you've been beaten 45-13. So respectable against Georgia. There's injuries all over the place. It's the only time that could be put out. 5 paragraphs.
I mean, the guy said something about the Tom Herman endorsement. That was like a quick thing. I think that they told Kirk Bowles.
They issued a press release, but it was short.
It was short, and it was poorly worded. They worded an out. This is a State of the Union address. But we don't have to read the whole damn thing, but it's a State of the Union address.
He says, I'm confident that Billy will meet the demands of the job. And it's like, wait.
Are you?
What? If you have to say that, yeah, are you? If you say we're bringing him back, do you even need to say all of that other stuff? Yeah. Anyway.
That's
all right. So look, for me, from a PrizePicks standpoint, if they keep throwing out the 19 and a hook on longest reception for Helm in the game, he's done it in every game this season. Will PrizePicks adjust? Will that number bump up to like 21, 22? As long as it's below 20, I think that has to be a play. The Quinn touchdowns is something to keep an eye on because it was so modest against Vanderbilt that I think the 2.5 number might not be.
Real quick, only 2 quarterbacks have 2.5. Shedeur Sanders, you get that, right? And Will Howard, surprisingly, is 2.5. So, there's about 25-ish other quarterbacks are all at 0.5 or 1.5. So
that could be a Red Devil.
Exactly. If Quinn's at 2.5, I would think that would be a Red Devil. Yeah. And I still would take it. Yeah.
No, exactly. That's why I'm bringing it up. I think the touchdown passes this week, more so than the yards, is one that I'll have my eye on for the reasons that Anwar outlined, that you start talking about you need your shooters to shoot and knock down some threes, and it would seem to be screaming that they need their quarterback to throw some touchdown passes and feel good about himself and to get the conversation in the rearview mirror. A 45-13 win where Quinn throws for 3 touchdowns and looks good doing it is really what the doctor ordered. I mean, nothing else matters in that game if it feels like Quinn Ewers got his groove back. You know, whatever the metaphor on the field is statistically for I went to the Bahamas and I met Ty Diggs, like whatever that is, he needs that version of that this weekend, because it just will change just as quickly as the Quinn conversations kind of popped up after the start that he had on War. It'll go. The fans want to believe. They don't enjoy the doubt. So if he can give them a reason to believe, I think everybody will lap it up, hook, line, and sinker. And then you can go into Arkansas not having the quarterback conversation, because God forbid Quinn's sketchy this weekend. Because then you go on the road to Fayetteville and this same conversation. We're all tired of having it. Oh, it's like, oh, let me find a new way to come up with a stat that says that Quinn's not playing well enough. If you look hard enough, you can find it, but it's not a lot of fun. I hope one of my kids comes out of the game on Saturday and is like, let's get a 3 jersey. That guy's awesome. Like, that's what we want to see. But if there's anything less than that, on War, the debate and the conversation might just continue on. And that's why, to me, it's so important.
Yeah, I mean, it won't change anything when it's all said and done, because Sark's not going to make a change. But
Sark is saying, I want to get our mojo back.
Yes.
He's not calling players out, but he's kind of agreeing with everybody that it's got to get better. So the elephant has been acknowledged.
Yeah, oh, definitely. It definitely has been acknowledged. And then, like I said, I think the play calling will be interesting to see, but, Sark attributed a lot of that to pre-snap penalties and so on and so forth. Not all 100% on Quinn, but also saying he wants that. So I think it becomes a big game for them. And look, I also think too, Catch, not only for Texas, but I think for all the teams that are in playoff contention, the Moors probably become their safer bet, because style points matter to the playoff committee. And the one thing they keep talking about that's really subjective is the eye test. Like, they are all about eye tests, and all these other things matter, but the eye test is going to play a part. And what that means is some programs, if they have a chance to score and score late, they're just going to have to do it. And so and there's a lot of competitive games this weekend. I know you're talking about the Texas and everything like that. The Georgia Ole Miss will be interesting. South Carolina Vanderbilt is going to be interesting. Bama versus LSU is going to be a very interesting one. Like, there's going to be some good games to monitor. But I'm mooring a lot, quite honest with you, because you better look good in this final month of November, and God forbid you get an injury, but you better look good.
I'm looking at the most popular plays on PrizePicks. I'm not sure what to do with a lot of these. You read my mind, Anwar, when you were talking about taking the Moors, because these teams have a lot to play for. And I was specifically thinking about Colorado in the moment that they're in the discussion. We know that Travis Hunter is a Heisman candidate. They've got Hunter at 101.5. And a month ago, I'm hammering the less. That's a huge number, but aren't they going to go out of their way with him to get those numbers? You wouldn't want to have a Heisman candidate at the end of the day. Plus, they're playing a Texas Tech team that gives up yards. Yeah. If they need Travis Hunter to have a big game, they could legitimately lose that game if their stars don't play well. I don't know. I'm looking at the Colorado guys and wondering to myself if this is an all-in weekend for, if not Shedeur Sanders, because 328.5 yards feels like a lot, but 101.5 for Travis Hunter. I don't know. I'm on the, like I said, I'm on the fence. The only one that I see that I love, they've got a Green Goblin for Jalen Milroe, 0.5 rushing and receiving touchdowns. I might hop on that. Milroe's good for getting in the end zone once, for sure.
Dude, I like that one, but I also like they've got a red devil on Jalen Milroe, 0.5 interceptions. He's thrown in 4 of his last 5 games. He's thrown at least 1 or 2 interceptions. And they're playing at LSU. I mean, I might take a chance on that interception mark.
Well, then let me ask you, Jason.
Go ahead, Kat. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was looking at the touchdown passes for the quarterbacks earlier. Hudson Card, they're playing against Ohio State. What do you think Hudson Card's touchdown number is?
0.5.
And it's a red devil. Yes, dude. They're basically saying he is not going to get a touchdown. So, wow. 0.5 and it's a red devil, man.
That is the most insulting thing that I've seen.
I feel bad. I like Hudson Card, right? He's a great dude. And I know his family. I got to know his family. I don't mean to make fun of him. I'm like, that is insulting. Like 0.5 and it's a red devil, man. So
I was going to say, though, on the interception front, what if Ewers is a red devil at 0.5, or just let's just say 0? If you mentioned the Florida guy, I wonder if that'll even be a play. But because if he's at 0.5, you're definitely taking the more. But do you think this is a week where Quinn Ewers can avoid the interception bug? Or if it's set at 0, that was one of the ones that I won on 2 weeks ago, is I took both him and Pavia to have more than 1 interception. That hit in the first half. If you were forced to play it, would you take the more on both?
Again, Florida's defense and their secondary is going to be pretty beat up.
Tip passes,
I forget what game it was, but I think it might have been the Georgia game. I was like, well, common sense says, hey, take the more. I didn't do it just because I don't like doing that on a Texas quarterback. But yeah, common sense. If you look at his profile and his game log, I mean, the odds are, yes, he will throw an interception. So I think the smart play would be to take it. Yeah. Would I play it? No, I'd probably stay away from it.
Anwar, any more Prize Pick college football weekend thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I didn't know Florida Atlantic is playing tonight versus Eastern Carolina. That's
take the lessons on everything
related. On everything Florida Atlantic related. Yeah,
I think Tom Herman is a really good football coach, but that's a really bad team. And I said it this weekend. Why did he take that job? I guess because Lane Kiffin took it and was able to make it work. I don't know why, if you've been at the University of Texas. And he wasn't bad. He was okay. He'll regret taking the Florida Atlantic job for the rest of his life, because that is doing incredibly more damage than going 9-3 or 8-5 or whatever he was doing at Texas. So just dumb.
Yeah, no, I would definitely take the less. And then clearly we see him in meltdown status after the game. So if you're just looking for something to do, for sure on that. I don't know. You know, the thing for me a little bit is it's interesting. Jackson Dart is a guy that I like to play a lot, Catch. And I usually have good numbers with Jackson Dart. I mean,
Georgia though.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Last week he was bananas. He threw for over 500 yards. They are playing Georgia, and Georgia typically does have success against Ole Miss. Like, that's just what they do. But I think there might be a situation where they may trail a little bit. Like, I feel like I like the upside of Jackson Dart on the more, just because of any of those scenarios. But I think he's at 272.
It would be just like the football gods. It would be just like them on 1 week after throwing for 500 yards. Yeah. He throws for 145 because it's Georgia.
Yeah.
But that is one of the most popular lines on PrizePicks this week. And I'd be lying if it hadn't crossed my mind to hammer the more on that.
Yeah. And so I'm just, there is a little bit of a thought process on just hitting the more on that, because I do think Ole Miss also can't afford a loss. One more loss and their playoff hopes are done. So I think there's a huge game for them. In Georgia, it's crazy, Catch. Outside of the Texas game, Georgia hasn't looked like that throughout the whole season. They rose up and had that great out-of-body experience. And outside of that is that, and I will tell you this, the one that's not posted yet, but I will definitely take whatever Carson Beck's interception number is, I will take the more. He's thrown 8 interceptions in the last 3 games. So in 2 times, he's thrown 3 interceptions in 2 of those games. So he's gone 3, 3, and 2. So if they set it at 1.5, they set it at 0.5, jump all over that, because he's going to give away the ball.
I don't think I've ever seen him do a 1.5 on interception. So it'll almost certainly be 0.5 if he has a line.
I would jump on that like Catch did on the Pavia Quinn thing. And in the first quarter, just think to yourself, all right, I'm just going to enjoy the rest of my day.
I think they're probably not going to put that line out there, Omar, because they've already got interceptions for lines for Jalen Milroe and Will Rogers.
They don't have anything up from the Texas-Florida game.
Well, I'm talking about for Carson Beck. They've got stuff for Beck, but they don't. I mean, they've got interceptions for most every other quarterback that's worth a darn, but they don't have a Carson Beck interception line. So I'm thinking they may stay away from that one.
Let me just tell you what I just put a play in for. I'm taking the Jalen Milroe Red Devil 0.5 interceptions. And I'm taking Hudson Card's Green Goblin at 0.5. And I'm pairing them up, and I'm doing 20 to win 45. Boom! Fun. Submit the lineup.
Come on, Hudson Card, come through.
Well, look, one of my only real wins. Although I gotta say, I've had some success in soccer. I've actually felt. The thing is, when I go on a heater on the soccer picks, I feel bad for not sharing them. But then every time I share the soccer picks, they don't hit. So I feel bad when I don't share, but when I share and then they don't hit, I feel like an asshole. So, I'm
trying to put in a play with the Jalen Milroe, and it's not paying off on the Red Devil. I'm pairing him with another, and it's 25 to win 75, just a standard 3 times.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead with your soccer stuff. Sorry.
So, no, it's okay. I was just saying, I wish I was sharing the good times with you guys, but nothing's worse.
Sometimes you got to be selfish, Catch.
These are my picks, and then I give them out, and then nobody ever says, "God damn it, Catch, why did you were awful today." Nobody ever says it, but I know everybody's thinking it. It's like Catch put these goddamn soccer picks out and thought Harry Kane was going to have more than 5 shots, and he only had 2. What does Catch know? And it's like, my bad, guys. I'm just trying to give you some insight. No, I've cashed in a few times this week, so I've been not anything big, but I'll take small wins, like the one I just put in, right? 20 to win 45. A little Hudson Card. Give me against Ohio State. Oh, look,
so you're not getting the Red Devil. You're not getting the Red Devil payout on that 20 to 45. 20 to win 45. That you're getting the Green Goblin.
Red Devil with a Green Goblin.
But I'm saying if I do a Green Goblin, I'm just going to pick one, Garrett Nussmeier, and just pick this other, and I put 20. Yeah, it's 20 to win 45. So they're not – the Red Devil is on Milroe for interceptions, but it's not paying the Red Devil payout for some reason. So.
Oh, way to go, Jason. Just made PrizePicks look bad.
No.
He looks stupid. I don't know which is which. I'm not getting the payoff. I don't know. I'll take 2.25 on that. I felt good when I hit it. There's no way Hudson Card gets out of Ohio State without a pick. That Purdue team is awful. And yeah, I'll take my chances on Jalen Milroe. But yeah, you're right. I should have got a little bit more value out of that. Shame on me. Well, the thing is, I looked to add a third. I was trying to add another pick to it, and it decreased the payout. It was less to hit 3 than it was to hit 2. So then, anyway, It's confusing at times.
The Red Devil would only add $10 to your payout, so it's not like it's a huge swing. So
anyway, we'll keep trying to solve the Rubik's Cube on PrizePicks before the year is over. Guys, we got to get ready. Steve Sarkisian speaking, top of the hour. House Divided coming up in a little bit more than an hour. We'll have Football with Friends later tonight. Still a action-packed day here on Orange Bloods Live. If you're tuning in and you're like, give me Jonte Cook discussion, it's the big news of the day, I would say go find the Old Fashioned earlier this morning. Anwar hosted. I sat in with him. We basically went wall to wall on Jonte Cook. So, and obviously we'll talk more about it on House Divided later today. But for the three of us and Alex, who, I don't know, are we rooting for him to murder an animal or not? Yes?
as long as
We're
he
going to go out there and not have any success at all, right? Go, Alex. Name something that you're hunting. For the three of us and the hunter, we'll talk to you on PrizePicks next week. Again, $50 instantly when you play 5, but you have to use the promo code Orange Blood. Scan that QR code. Make it happen. We love PrizePicks. You need to as well. You guys